Welcome, sports fans, to this episode of the Detroit Lions Tomorrow. In this episode, I'm going to be previewing the Lions game tomorrow with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to have some tidbits for you and go over the injury reports and some other stats you may not otherwise know. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the Lions defense and the Cardinals offense. As we know, last year the Lions were last against the pass, 21st against the run, second to last overall, and 23rd in defensive efficiency. The Cardinals last year were 24th in passing, 10th in rushing, 21st overall, and 13th in offensive efficiency. Now, the Cardinals' numbers have gone up quite a bit this year, while the Lions have either gone down or pretty much remained the same defensively. For example, the Cardinals this year have gone from 24th to 13th in passing. They're 5th in the NFL in rushing currently at 170 yards per game. They're 6th overall, and they're 23rd in offensive efficiency. Now, granted, while the last statistic has gone down, bear in mind they are 2-0 and have a lot of new people, just like the Lions do. The Lions defensively this year have actually improved to 9th from last against the pass. I think you're going to see why in a minute. They are last against the run, giving up more than 200 yards per game. They're 29th overall, and they're 31st in defensive efficiency. Those last two numbers being exceptionally down from what was a poor defense last year. I wouldn't buy too much in the fact that currently the Lions' pass defense is in the top 10. I think we've seen so far through the first two games how exposed it can be be sure, and how much especially Jeff Okudah has to learn. I would say based on this, I will be very surprised, especially with the Cardinals having DeAndre Hopkins, if the Kyler Murray doesn't put up 30 points on the board, much like Aaron Rodgers did, because the Lions seem ill-equipped to stop him on the ground. But one thing and one key it will be for the Lions is they're going to have to limit the rushing yards. There's no choice there. And while they weren't that good last year, David Johnson still had 85 yards rushing and 55 yards receiving, 140 total yards if you will. Now, he's not with them this year, but I have the feeling Kenyon Drake can run for some big yards against the Lions if they don't contain the run. And as Chris Spielman would say, the Lions definitely need to have run integrity, especially giving up the 79-yard touchdown run to Aaron Jones last week, as well as 259 yards rushing that they gave up to the Packers, the most they've given up in a game since the Eagles rushed for 299 yards, if you recall, in that strange snow game or strange game against the Eagles that turned out to be a snow game back in 2013. For the Lions to have any shot at winning, they not only have to limit the Cardinals' run attack, but they're going to have to hold them, I think, to 125 yards or less. Last year, they gave up 110 to them, I believe it was. So, Cardinals are looking at running for some big yards against the Lions, to be sure. In the next segment, I'm going to preview the Lions' offense, and I'm going to talk about the Cardinals' defense. Stay tuned on the Detroit Lions tomorrow on Ed's Sports Channel.